Earlier, before the iDubbbz thing happened, I was actually messaging Sam Hyde. I happened to be watching his stuff on my stream, and he just said in a video before the iDubbbz thing was announced, but I was already committed to the iDubbbz thing. He was like, yeah, I want to box Hassan, whatever. And then he was like, you know what? I'd even box the Epic Mealtime guy. And he said that just at the end of the video. And me with like 3 boxing lessons, I was like, I'll box you. And then we got on the phone. He was like, $25,000 if you box me, $100,000 if you knock me out. And I was like, who are you, Sam? Like, who are you? Like, I'm not now, if you came in, you were like $100 to box me, $500 if you knock me out. I'm like, okay, bitch. But $100,000, it's like, no one's putting that up unless they have like, a lot of confidence. And I've seen so many videos of him punching and kicking and doing all this shit for like years, and I've never been like a fan of combat. And this is just a guy that like, he's a guy that likes to fight. Like I actually believe that when Sam took
he's really big
under
too.
The bridge. Yeah, he is. He's 6'4", 270. And when he took iDubbbz under that bridge in that little documentary, and he was getting iDubbbz to punch him, and he was kind of hitting iDubbbz back. I believe that was the conception of this boxing event. Because if that happened to me, ever since I started punching, I feel much better. I'm good. Like, there are some people in life that I'd be like, oh, he's muscular, I would never punch him. And now I'm like, oh, I would get in the ring with that guy. I'm confident to last a round at least. I won't win, but I can go in the ring with him. And I think iDubbbz was like maybe, and I'm making this up, and I talk to Ian a lot, obviously, but he started training a lot, like around since then. And now this event is happening. And so, I think in some ways, I think of watching Sam and then getting on the phone with Sam and speaking to iDubbbz, being in the event and watching their video, which, by the way, the Sam Hyde cut of iDubbbz documentary followed by the iDubbbz cut of the Sam Hyde documentary is like my favorite back-to-back videos this year. It was such good content, both of them. I loved it. So I had an open line to Sam, and I was talking to him, and he was like, hey, why don't you send me your sparring footage? And I was like, okay. Oh, because I told him, I was like, I sparred a heavyweight and it really wasn't so comfortable. I didn't do that well. And he was like, oh, send it to me. And I sent it to him, which I think in a way was like trusting, because, he did that video with iDubbbz and he released it early. He forced iDubbbz's hand to release that video.
Well, I think he didn't do anything for like 6 or 9 months. Like, early is pretty relative. He was under the impression iDubbbz would never release it, so he didn't want to.
So he did it, but he didn't even hit him up, being like, "By the way, I'm going to release this shit."
Okay.
So I sent him a sparring video, which if he uploaded it, it would be hilarious content, because he'd be like, "Look at the Epic Mealtime guy; he's such an idiot." And I would love that video if he did that. Don't do that if he ever sees this. But I sent it to him, and I was like, yeah, if this gets sent out, it breaks an NDA, I can't be on camera fighting someone else. And, I sure as hell don't want to get ripped up by, I don't want to get lampooned by Sam Hyde and my fighting skills before the match. But I sent it to him, and I think he maybe appreciated that I trusted him in that sense, because he sent me back a long list of voice memos. It was practically speaking on the phone. He was like, how long into your fight? And I was like, 7 weeks. He was like, okay, you're trash. You're very bad at this. You look all sorts of up in there. I'm going to have you, if you can, do you want to come here? And I was like, yeah. Okay. I was like, how big are you? He's like 6'4", 270. And I was like, okay, so if I go and I fight Sam Hyde twice a day, every single day for 7 weeks, a single game grump should be pretty easy for me.
Oh yeah, he's gonna take you on the bridge.
I shaved my beard off because I don't want to bring the sauce boss with me. I just got here. I'm in Cigarette Hooker Hotel. Sam told me to book this hotel. It's terrifying. But if I was
I just realized this just got a lot cooler.
This is where we do the trading.
Oh no!
If I were to book my own hotel, I know me, I would get like some sick hotel in Rhode Island. I'd be like ordering room service, but instead, like the stench that I know is here, hidden by like perfume made to like hide cigarette and like old smell. Yep. It's like I feel like it's just I'm in full beast mode.
It's like I said, Harley, it's hard to get up and run if you're sleeping in silk sheets.
Yeah. So I shaved my beard. I left the sauce boss at home, and I'm going to be a pupil.
You know, you're really,
and I'm going to be a pupil too. Yes, that would be cool. I would come to visit you for that one then. 7 weeks of steroids.
I can't help you that, but I know who can.
So is your first day of real training tomorrow then?
This is Sam Hyde. Remember Sam Hyde?
It might be any minute, huh?
Literally
it could be
the
right
second I'm done here, I have a mysterious address that on Google Maps looks like a parking lot. And I'm going to meet him there. And I'm like, it'll be about midnight. He's like, that's okay. And I'm like, great. I'm like that too. So I'm like, okay. So I gave the keys of my life to maybe one of the only guys on the internet that makes me feel nervous. That guy. I gave him the keys to my life, and he blocked off the next 2 weeks of his life, and he's got a bonkers life. I don't even know what's happening there, but content is always getting uploaded and shit's always happening on his social media. So I'm going to he's going to have his weeks blocked off, and I'm going to go there, and I'm just like, no ego. I don't care. Like I do make a good student. I knew what it takes to be a teacher, so I know how to be a student as well. No ego. I'm willing to learn. It was very difficult saying to my boxing coach, a pro boxing coach, I'm like, oh, I'm leaving to do a fight camp. He's like, oh, with who? And I'm like, oh, the ghost of Kiev. Have you ever read How to Bomb the U.S. Government? Have you ever read that book?
It's
gonna upload this
Sergeant Maggot.
Like, it's my. I don't know if I'm reading between the lines. Sam Hyde is like, I'll train you. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna make some dope videos out of this. Maybe.
It looks like, from what I understand, and also I never know what to expect.
Right.
Like I was like, maybe I'm going there and he's just gonna jump me. Like maybe I'm going there and he's just gonna jump me. I'm the one making the videos. I brought a cameraman with me, and everything's going to be documented. And it looks like that's what he wanted in exchange for the training. It seems. I mean, if he filmed, that's cool. I'm not going to say anything. That's fine. I like the content. But I'm the one that's going to be documenting it. So it'll be, I guess, from my perspective. I
have another question.
Can I just say one thing? And you probably already know this, so forgive me if it's insulting. Don't stop rolling ever. There's you need a lot of the camera has to always be recording, because that guy's so odd. That guy's so interesting. Like there's going to be some moment. If you turn the camera off, something's going to happen, and you're going to wish it was on.
Ties into my question, which was, Harley, how do you know, or do you know Sam has your best interests in mind? I can totally imagine, like, I'm a YouTube boxer, right? Sam Hyde calls me, says, Woody, you should come here and train. I pack up my life. I head out to, I don't know, under a bridge somewhere, and he doesn't show, right? He did that to iDubbbz for like 4 days in a row or something. Like, how do you know he's not there with you?
I don't, and that's kind of the fun part of this.
Okay.
I'm always in control in my life for the last 10 years. So relinquishing control to a complete psychopath is kind of in a way. This is like in a weird way. It's like, I love being in control. I'm all about control. Not having control is nice, I guess.
Sure.
Scary. I don't know. It's different. I've been bored the last couple years.
You're just putting yourself in Sam Hyde's capable hands.
No, I love what you've done here. I love it. I love like uprooting and just going to do this thing. It's so fucking cool. It's so fucking cool. Like I bet you're so excited about tonight, right? Like this is gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Tonight being the show.
You've never met him, right? Like this is the first time you're laying eyes on this dude.
So my cameraman is a very good friend of mine. It was a guy I used to film stuff with for like the last 15 years. When I ever did something on camera, he was the guy that filmed me the first time. He's a very good friend. He's obsessed with Sam Hyde. So like we're in the car and we're driving and it's like quiet. What's that?
I'm sorry. I was he in Vermont? That your cameraman, good friend? Maybe I remember him.
No,
I went to Vermont with
me
you
from my hometown, Montreal.
Everyone you brought.
That's true. We did.
Okay, so the answer is no, though. He wasn't in Vermont. Okay.
No, he's from Montreal.
He wasn't on that trip with us. That's what I mean by Vermont. I went to
Vermont. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, none of those. Yeah. His name's Brian. He's a cool dude. And we're sitting there and it's like quiet. And I was just like, what do you think Sam Hyde smells like? It's not a thing you would think of. You would never think of that. And like, smell.
Yeah, we would never talk about such a thing.
No. So, but now I'm like, I'm going to see him and I'm like, he's going to be so big and like, we're going to smell him. Like he's going to be big. Like, when I come into a room, you could smell me. I'm just so much skin. Mm-hmm. So much more skin is in the room now, so you'll smell it.
So,
but like this guy you're fighting, I saw the tweet you had with the picture of that guy. That's legit the guy you're fighting?
Yeah, that's him. Like obviously, like maybe 9 years ago or something.
Okay. So there's a lot. Is there more of him to
this tweet?
Is there more of him to tussle with these days?
Yeah, if you look up Aaron Game Grumps on Google, you'll just see him. He's like a bigger guy,
Okay.
Like big enough that I shouldn't underestimate him, but not big enough that I would.
That you're afraid to troll him right now.
Yeah,
I do that. I want to do that. See, this goes back to Sam Hyde again. Another thing is I was like, yeah, I've been talking to Aaron, where we said we're going to troll each other online. And Sam was like, you need to stop texting him immediately. You need to start dehumanizing this person because you are going to fuck him up. That is not a human. That's not your friend anymore. That's the enemy. And he said a bunch of things, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to head down there. Yeah, that's what he looks like. I was like, you know what, Sam? I'm going to head down there.
Of things.
He said a bunch of things that really that got me that made sense. He was like, your energy expenditure in this sparring doesn't make sense. People don't understand what it's like to move someone like yourself. Like, I understand that you are not a Dominican janitor. You cannot bounce around. You don't have that body. You can't throw your arms like a little Chinese man.
You're never be athletic, Harley. You're gonna burn some fuel, right? You're not a Prius in there. You're literally a fucking V8. You're gonna run out of gas if you don't preserve your energy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're not athletic like that. You're not black. These are not things you can do. And then
did he go over that whole races? Did he explain to you that you're not Dominican?
That whole time I was like taking it. You know me. I'm like listen, like my racist radar is like, I'm like, wait, but then he was like, you ever play Elden Ring? And I'm like, go on.
Kyle, a little.
Go on.
He's like, you can't sit there and am I glitching out a little bit?
No, you're doing great.
You're good.
Am I back again? Okay,
you're all good. You're all good.
Really
wait, am I?
Your audio. Your audio is good.
He was like, yeah. You ever play Elden Ring? He was like, you ever play Elden Ring? Like, like you put your shield up. Try and hold your shield up while an enemy is attacking you. Your stamina will burn out before their stamina burns out. You have to be on the attack. So, like what you were saying, Woody, you were like, oh, if you go out there and you train and you look good, like you practiced and you trained, that's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I said was that
Sam was like, listen, form, like my form looks good, right? Like if I look like I trained and my form looks good.
He has a delay. So you just want to let him talk.
I'm sorry. So Harley, I'll be quiet. Please explain what you're saying.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's hotel shit internet. He was like, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to turn you into something that, the announcers that are announcing the fight, they're going to look at it and they'll be like, what is Harley doing? He doesn't know how to box. This looks terrible. Because like you're not going to be boxing a boxer. Like, I'm going to teach you to maul this person. It's going to be disgusting. It's going to be ugly. It's not going to look good. It's going to be disgusting. You are going to go over there and you are going to completely maul him and take control of the fight. And it's not going to look like any boxing match anyone has ever seen. And that's That's when I was like, how big are you? And he was like, I'm 6'4", 270. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to come down and I'll fight you twice a day, every single day. You are going to show me what to do, and we're going to do that.
No, we're trolling him. Harley, how long is the fight? I'm going for how many minutes per round and how many rounds?
5 rounds, 2 minutes per round, no headgear, and we're looking at 16-ounce gloves. So the 5 rounds is long. 2-minute rounds is not particularly long, but they want 5 rounds because they want there to be a victor. I sparred many times 5 rounds, 2 minutes. It is brutal.
Yep.
I've done 5 rounds, 3 minutes to try and push. And as of right now, by the 4th round, I'm like done, gassed. I can't even, I'm like, knock me out, please. Let me go to sleep. Just knock me out.
Yeah, just doing heavy bag work for like that much time is just brutal. It's, I can't imagine sparring.
And I think it's pretty wild that, you know, Sam and I actually told him, I was like, oh, I'm going on PKA. Maybe you should come. Like when they ask training questions, you should hop on and answer. And he's like, oh, PKA. He's like, those guys are cool. And I'm like, yeah, they would love you on. I'm like, they would love you on. He was like, oh, I would go on, except the subreddit is filled with toxic idiots.
Who said that?
No, I'm kidding. He didn't say that. He didn't say that, Sam. He didn't say that about the subreddit. But I was on the subreddit. It was like, Sam Hyde. Oh, my God. But he was like, yeah, I would go on that in the future for sure. He's like, but right now I'm in like savage kill mode, like overboost level 5. If I went on that show, I'm not going to be funny.
He did tweet a picture of your opponent with kill mode engaged.
He's like, I won't be funny. I can't go on there. I'm not going to be funny. I'm not going to be entertaining. He's like, I am mentally prepared to work on footwork with you in a parking lot for hours. So I was like, cool. Yeah, that's the priority.
You know what's a little weird to me?
I was like,
why in a parking lot? Like, why not like in his garage or a gym or
under a bridge?
Anything but a parking
under a
lot.
bridge also makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Under a bridge. I mean, I like that. I want that.
Dude, I'm so excited for you.
This is such great content.
I hope. I really want you to record all this. I'll watch it. Whatever you do with it, I'm hyped. I'm so excited to see like what comes of this. You're there for how many weeks?
Oh, hold on. Someone's knocking on my door.
2 weeks, I think he said.
This is about to happen.
Is it?
Can we be quiet to see if
we can hear?
Come see me take my podcast for a second. This is my buddy Brian.
Okay.
He's the guy that came down with me to film. They said we can't turn the camera off at any point.
Yeah.
You were never going to do that anyways, right?
Well, yeah, that's why I need the batteries.
Yeah, he came in here to get a charger. We literally have like 50 batteries. He's going to handle that.
This is going to be so great. I mean, Sam Hyde himself is just a content machine, but having him this motivated to get Harley up and running for boxing.
The only thing that could make this better is if the opponent was someone that we here like actually hated. Like
Oh,
that would make this so fun. Like that would make me want to like go. Like watching in person or something. I don't know anything about this guy he's fighting, but like,
dude, if they let
still mode engaged, apparently,
I'll buy the fight if they let Sam Hyde hang out in the corner. That would be great.
What'd you guys say?
I'm saying I'm hoping that they let Sam Hyde, your trainer, be in your corner during the fight. They won't let him.
No, they don't want him at the event. There are people with reputations that don't want to be, I guess, attached to a guy that wrote a book called How to Bomb the U.S. Government. He also said, he says, I don't like talking for him too much, but like it is exciting for me because I am a fan of his content. So, he's going to knock me out a couple times this week. So he said that.
Matt, can you bring up a picture of Sam Hyde's book just for everyone to see?
He says he doesn't like flying. He doesn't fly. And he gave me a reason. But in my head canon, I was like, oh, he's on a no-flight list. That's like my head canon of it. That's like but iDubbbz expressed, like I asked iDubbbz, I was like, hey, I was doing something with Sam planning before you released your videos, you and him. Is there any bad blood there? I don't want there to be any bad blood. and he was like, Idubbbz was like, no, do what you want, but he was like, obviously, good luck. He was like, I had a very difficult time working with Sam.
There's a chapter called Overweight Women.
Yeah, and it's right before the child molesters chapter,
and right before elf weapons. I need the book.
Yeah,
I need the book.
I honestly, like, if I go wherever places I go, if I see any of his merch, I'm just gonna be like, can I have this? Can I have this? I completely forget what I was going to say. I got thrown off by elf weapons.
Right?
You're talking about how he's not allowed at the event.
Oh yeah, they don't. They expressed on like a Happy Punch promo, like Twitter thing, that they weren't comfortable with that. People they're like, Dr. Mike is boxing, and she was like, yeah, like they were like, Dr. Mike, like as an example, doesn't want to be on a card with Sam. And I think, like, we're bringing it back to like, how can I trust him, Woody? Like you asked, he really wants to box like Hassan. He wants to box Joe Rogan. He wants to do that. And if he's gonna like publicly attach himself, making me his fighter, and I go in and I get up, like, no one will take him seriously as a boxer or in the craft of it all. So I believe in his desire to want to, fight people.
Yeah.
So I think he will. I think he will take care of me there. Like he said to me, he was like, if you come down here, I guarantee you a victory. And I did believe that. I really did. And I can't deny the fact that like training twice a day, every day is a thing. I can be locked up in this hotel room, literally waiting for Sam Hyde to kick the door open and be like, let's go every single day.
Like we went quiet because we thought maybe he was going to like kidnap you into the night. That was like training begins now.
I did. I'm gonna give him a key to my room, and I'm like, yeah, you can hop in with like your boys and like when I'm sleeping, just so that my situational awareness is completely peaked. I want to be like at any point, because you know what my fear was if I got in this boxing match is like if I get knocked out, it sucks that it's a game grump. And it's not even JonTron, it's this guy. And if I get knocked out, I want it to be clean. Like I want to get knocked out.
Yeah.
What I fear is if I get knocked out and I'm on the ground, like,
oh yeah,
like still trying to fight. Like in my head, I think
like you grab the ref, and you're like bear hugging him, like trying to drag him down
like
with
on
you.
The ground, I'm like. And I don't think I feel like Sam wouldn't let that happen. I feel like he's going to.
I think that you're
a different person.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Like, I don't for a second doubt that. I don't think he's punking you for 1 second. Like he genuinely wants to be involved in this boxing world, and you're his in. And yeah, he wants you very evidently to not just win, but but dominate him so hard that it's like that's a story of the night. Like, do you see Harley brutalize that poor Game Grump who's not even JonTron?
And if that happens, I'm calling out the doc, because that's who I really wanted to box the whole time. I was like, who's scary, my size, and like just like peak like physical performance is Dr. Disrespect. And I was like, that's a guy that I'm comfortable fighting. And even like if I lose, there's a lot of grace to be had in that. And I thought that he would be like a very much a worthy opponent.
Is he as big as you are?
Yeah, I think he's taller than me.
Oh,
yeah, he's taller than me. So I like that. I've even been crazy lately. I'm working out a lot and like boxing a lot. So I look at pictures of Martin Ford and I'm like, I would get into a ring with Martin Ford. I would. That's for sure. Yeah, look at that. See?
Super tall.
Wouldn't you want that guy to fuck you out?
Although
I mean,
the other guy's 4'7", so he's
the other guy, he looks like an extra in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
My mom was like, you're going to see this guy. Like, do you even know him? And I'm like, And my dad's like, well, can you trust him? And I'm like,
The only person I would have.
Be honest, did you, to comfort them, did you go, he's Jew?
I didn't. And on the way out, my mom was like, drive safe. I'm like, okay. A lot of people think he's in C. And she's like, what? I'm like, nothing, bye. I swear, we recorded that. We recorded that. The only person I know that would come and do this with me is Brian, the guy that was just here. He's filmed a bunch of stuff for me. He's like such a good cameraman. He's like one of my best friends for a long time. And he's just like so excited for this. Like he's just excited. A lot of people are like, I would never go there. I would never do that. And
really?
I'm like, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you are. It's awesome. For
I'm glad
content.
that we get a little window into this.
Yeah, for sure. Because the whole
you
world
tweeted
of Sam
Taylor.
Hyde
You were
is
like,
so
you were like, if Harley and Sam Hyde box, like Sam Hyde would probably fuck me up. Like,
well, he knows
probably fuck me up. Fighting, but like fighting means something to him.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting doesn't mean something to me. I'm not here to train to fight a game grump. I'm here because it's me versus me, the paradox that drives us all. And and the only person that's going to break that out of me would be someone like him. There's not many people that I would give the keys to. He's Kyle and I'm Wings. And we are going to get a new fucking shower installed. 100%. That's where I'm at.
I didn't know where that was going for a second. I was like, wait, what?
I love that he intentionally put you in that room to ensure that there is no level of comfort to keep you from wanting to train. So, Harley, you mentioned that Sam kind of gave you a preview into the strategy being a mauling, more of a brawl than a boxing match. Did he kind of indicate to you what that would mean? Like just trying to bear on the guy with your size, or
you're gonna run out of energy? Answer that too.
Is that going to be what you learned tonight, or did he give you a little clue?
He was like, real boxers aren't even comfortable fighting someone of your size. It's very rare. He's like, so we're gonna use that. Like if it's like falling on top of him, using him as an arm rest, like, you know, your heavy arms, everything, constant like pressure, but you're controlling the distance. You know, I don't want to say too much of the strategy out here, but he went on and on. He didn't just compare it to Elden Ring, but he used Street Fighter also as
what did he compare with Street Fighter?
He basically broke down combos in a way, and I don't want to reveal too much of the strategy, but it made sense in my head as a gamer. Honestly, like, you want to know tonight, like, I bet you I'm going to go to the parking lot and I bet you I'm going to walk backwards for an hour.
Dude, if he starts talking about Mortal Kombat, run.
I think he's going to make me walk backwards. He's going to do some stuff for my ankles and knees. Like, footwork is important to him, and energy expenditure, which was my biggest flaw. And he saw that in the tape. Like, he did recognize that. And like I said, my actual pro boxing coach was like, okay, dude, whatever you want.
Energy.
Oh, you know what? Do you guys want to go to the fight?
Where is it?
It's
where's it happening?
Can I say this? I think it's.
Maybe.
What? It's in Tampa,
huh?
Shut up. Tampa, May 14th. Let me know if you guys are down. Like, you three guys, I could maybe do something there. Everyone else, momenthouse.com/creatorclash is where you can get tickets to stream it. And I hate to tell you cheap watching this or listening right now who like to go stream and pirate it because it's like UFC or exciting Jake Paul events. There's not exciting enough for all your pirate websites to broadcast it. So you're going to have to buy this one, sadly enough. It's in that sweet spot of like fighting people not giving a fuck about seeing fat gamers go at it. And enough that you want to
don't listen to him, guys. I'll be streaming it over on FCSstreams.biz.
Yeah, you can find it. You
whitelisted.
$50 Patreon.
Kyle.pirate.
The Patreon hangout it's just you guys like literally live streaming it there physically holding it, live streaming it to your Patreon.
Coming out.
Putting it on my phone.
Taylor's got one of those little mini satellite dishes aimed at the sky, and I'm gonna have an old school TV camera.
I keep getting pushed back from the ring. I've got a boom over.
We're doing our own commentary.
I got a question for you guys, and at least like if you guys don't have it, maybe someone in the comments left something that I like. But I want to
walk out music.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you thinking? What would be good? I like the idea of me asking Sam, like,
yes, you might want to tap Sam for that one.
Well, I want to ask Sam. I want to be like, hey, check out these shorts designs, and maybe they say like he, him, BLM, trans lives matter, and be like, what do you think about this? Just bounce back, whatever you're thinking. You know, I want to know what your thoughts, and just like show him that design. I was also thinking,
you to play.
Dude, I bet he would think that was funny.
The song "Like a Rock." You know, like a rock, I was strong as I can be. But you're going to be wearing an Iraqi flag when you come out. So it's going to be like Iraq.
Like Iraq. That could work.
I thought about like a suit and No Chance, which is Vince McMahon's music playing, and I like do that Vince McMahon power walk, and then someone cuts me out of the suit. Or maybe I'm in a suit, so you gotta like scissors. Like I got gloves on. Yeah, I got gloves on, so you'd have to cut the suit off me.
I love that. Yeah, my idea is the worst. I've got that. Hey, you. I know that you like me. Hey.
Oh no, he's got to come out.
It's not a secret.
He's got to come out tough with intimidation in his heart.
Dude, there's a fighter named what's the fighter from New Jersey in the UFC? Mickey Doyles or something like that. Dude, he walks out to, hey, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind.
Yeah,
hey, Mickey,
it makes sense a little bit, though. You know, I was also thinking, like, what if I got, like, a bunch of dudes and I wore, like, the, like Jewish tallis and a kippah, and they brought me out, like, lifting me up on a chair. Like how Jews lift people up on a chair, and it plays
and if you lose, it's racist.
You're
it's a hate crime.
Pull up a picture of the Hebrew hammer.
You're going to need some strong guys.
Yes,
and a robust chair.
Or
one of them, Sam Hyde with the luchador mask on.
And that's the big reveal that it's been him boxing the whole time.
Sam Hyde. I watched Sam Hyde and iDubbbz. I mean, we all did. And I put myself in the shoes of iDubbbz. I really felt for him. And he explained it on his side. He's like, I feel like I could have hit him more. But had I, it would have given him permission to hit me. So he didn't want any part of that. And I'm like, dude, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
If you guys have never done any boxing training, and it sounds like Harley has, a lot of times you don't do headshots all the time. If you spend all your time doing headshots, you'll get brain damage. So, you know, you may be punching like the shoulders or the collarbone or the chest or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like we had headshot day. It was Friday. So I at one point, Santa Hyde is like, all right, headshots now. And iDubbbz like, you know, he doesn't want that smoke. I don't want that smoke either. If Sam Hyde says headshots now, I say, man, he
still punched him hard. Sam still punched him hard at one point. I saw a punch and I was like, oh.
He popped him in the, like, he did the thing where like iDubbbz was kind of like towards the end of the little session going like that, joking around, and like right at the end, Sam just goes, whoo, he just like it pops him in the body pretty good, and then iDubbbz was like, oh,
you know, like that whole thing. I sat down and I was like with friends and we watched both of them. I watched like both sides of the video, and what was so compelling to me, watching iDubbbz, someone that I've met before, and watching Sam Hyde, someone that like, you know, like I didn't think I would ever really meet anytime soon anyways, was what was so compelling about that is, and I kind of had a different take. I actually watched you guys talk about it. And I had a different take in my mind, is that like, it was like I was trying to break it down. Like these are guys that like Sam, like you would say, Sam alpha'd him, which is true in the traditional sense, but like iDubbbz is like slippery is a bad word for it, but like he doesn't care about being alpha'd, and that makes it the most alpha in a sense. And I thought like that the only time where there was like a big sway in like the only time where we got real Sam, from what I understand, someone who doesn't know Sam Hyde, was when iDubbbz was like, do you remember the email you sent me?
Oh, yeah.
And Sam was like, no. I like paused that part and brought that back like 10 times. I'm like, he knows that email.
You think
we got like a real, I thought we got like a real, he knows that he sent an email, and just the way he sounded saying no to iDubbbz, I was like, these are two guys that are like, they're both like like situation. Like if Sam came in here and Sam was here, imagine me trying to speak normally and have this conversation if he's right there. He's a guy that like, you know, he would like, he's like controls the situation. And then imagine if like it's like iDubbbz there, like it's almost like the same world, different end of the spectrum. Because I always found that iDubbbz was like, when I met him, he's a guy that you're like, what's he thinking? If you think of them as anime characters, one is the obvious, like, huge, like, I don't know if any of you watched Bleach, but maybe people listening do, like, Zaraki Kenpachi. He's a huge dude. He put bells on his hair so that when he attacks you, you hear him coming. So it's harder for him. He's making it harder on himself to fight you because he wants more of a challenge. Whereas iDubbbz is like a Quincy. They would like form weapons using their brains. And like by using their brains, that weapon will like pierce directly through you instead of being like a huge dominating strength force. It's like a different type of power. So watching the two documentaries, watching the power struggles in the room was like so much content for me because those guys never got comfortable with each other. They never trusted each other. They never got comfortable with each other. And I just sat there and I was like, oh my God. I was like, what would I do if I had to be with Sam Hyde for a week? And then I was like, what would I do if I had to be with iDubbbz for a week? You know, you'd say something like iDubbbz being like, yeah, I just ate. I just had some eggs. And he'd be like, oh, and you're like, what? Was something wrong with that? It's stupid, eh? You think that's stupid? You don't. You think it's stupid that I asked you. Never mind. I shouldn't have. Would you say nothing? Oh, okay. You know, and it's like it's like a little less obvious thing. But when I was watching it, like, and maybe because I was super high, which I don't get high anymore. But I was watching it and I was like, this is like hard to watch. It's like it was hard for me. And if I just watched it and I was like, oh, Sam's alphaing him. It's like simple, but if you just imagine that, like Sam was like kind of like worried when iDubbbz was coming. He was like, "What's he gonna do?" And then to think of a guy like Sam being insecure is so outlandish. But like he was a little insecure. He's like, "Is iDubbbz coming here? What's he gonna even film? What's he gonna say?" And then even waiting for he couldn't wait for that video to come out. He's like, "Let's just put ours out." Because I got to get it out there. And like, I just felt that they were it was such like a crazy thing. Like I literally wrote iDubbbz like a million messages about it. I wrote Sam a bunch also. I was just like, those videos were so crazy to watch. I've literally watched them both back to back many times because it was fascinating. I've been in the same room as iDubbbz. And going into the same room of like, as like Sam, like in both senses, I was like, not a guy that gets nervous, like meeting people. Both of those people make me nervous to meet them. I met Ian and like, you know, I'm meeting Sam. At least with Sam, I go under the guise of like, I'm a pupil. So if he's like, shut the fuck up and listen, there's no part of me that has to be like, you don't talk to me like that. I'm lucky that he's taking the time to say, shut the fuck up and listen. He's going to tell me what's up. So I'm going to try and take the most out of it. You know what I mean?
It's a good attitude.
But Taylor, anyways, yeah.
Do you remember this section well enough to recap it? There's a part in the iDubbbz video where he explains Sam Hyde. And even though I can't remember it, somehow
I know
meant a lot to me. Okay, yeah. And he's like, there's this spectrum of I'm saying what I mean, I'm not saying what I mean, and then plausibly I can't tell. What was the example he used? Was it something about
post satire? The eating
like
poop
that,
thing. He's like, I like eating poop.
Right.
I like eating poop.
Yeah.
No, I do. I actually do like eating poop. And it's like, okay, it's the joke, but it's like a joke of a joke of a joke. And he's always living there. And actually, when I told people to watch iDubbbz video, I actually say, like, if you're not going to make it through, go watch that part. Because like he was like, he did a really excellent breakdown. Because I've never been able to, I've never met someone like Sam Hyde, but I know people kind of like that. And they are difficult to assess. You don't know where you stand. You know what I mean? But I'm not like iDubbbz. I would take the bait. I'd be like eating poop. What? Like, should I try it?
That's how you're going to win your match, man.
Like, I would bait into that. Whereas someone like iDubbbz, just like, you know, like he let a lot of things happen. Where I was like, oh, I would have taken that bait. Even when the guys were like, yeah, I got crypto. I thought Cardano was. I saw that and I was like, oh, I would have jumped in that conversation. I was like, well, so what are you guys thinking? now I'm the joke because they're making a whole caricature joke. But like I was kind of into that, so I was like, oh, what? And then I'm like, oh, your whole thing was a joke. Oh, I actually wasn't that person. You were making fun of me.
Yeah,
I would have been made fun of.
You're like accidentally sincere when he's punking you, and then you're like, oh, god damn it! Like I thought all the time. I was trying to be amicable, but I was looking like a about.
Oh, I'm a people pleaser. Neither of those guys are people pleasers. I see like someone like if we're at like a gathering and there's someone on the side, I'm like, oh, I'd go up to that guy, I'd be like, yo, what's your deal? Come, like, I'm a person that would do that. iDubbbz doesn't look like he cares to make anyone happy. Sam Hyde obviously looks like he doesn't care to make anyone happy. You know what I mean? And me being someone that is like not like that at all. Like if I see some guy like sipping lean, he's like, I don't know what crypto to buy. I'd be like, well, let's talk about it, buddy. And he's like, you want to talk about it? You're an idiot. Like I would have got like 50 million times when I saw that.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could see even iDubbbz, who's very, very astute with that kind of stuff. I would assume like he got by the entire thing. Like the whole like that's not the girlfriend thing. That's
the girlfriend thing. That's next level. That's the thing where I'm like, should I be here encouraging this now? Like that girl, like that's like the stuff. iDubbbz got the exact nightmare that most people think of. Like if you were going to go film with Sam Hyde for a couple days, the last thing you want him to do is plan with all of his friends to like have dead bees around and a fake girlfriend. That's the nightmare scenario. And like iDubbbz, they're like shooting guns with them, and I was like, like
iDubbbz didn't got by the whole thing though. Like the slingshot, for example, they got him 0% on that. He was obviously a setup. The whole you're thinking Lamborghini, it's really Ferrari. He's just smiling along, doing what Harley said, which is not attempting to out alpha the alpha. Just like, all right, is that what you want to do? Fine, I'm here for it. Like he didn't care. He didn't feel any need to impress him with
the girlfriend thing's hilarious.
The girlfriend thing is more what I was referring to. It was like the beginning to the end, like wrap up little storyline there. Yeah, which was so funny. But I didn't pick up on the same thing as you, Harley. I just missed it. Like I couldn't tell whether or not Sam actually remembered sending that email to iDubbbz or not. And maybe that's another example of what you're talking about, where it's very difficult to discern his true thoughts. Because he's a guy who his whole bread and butter, he works in satire. Like if he unironically came out and gave like a speech or something, people will be like, what, like, is this a joke? Like this has to be like, so I get why he does it that way. And it adds a lot more funny. I lean more his side over iDubbbz because I've been a huge fan of Sam's for many years, and I don't really watch iDubbbz content. Although I remember Content Cop was a very funny series.
First time I ever saw iDubbbz, my dad sent me like a time-stamped YouTube video saying ha 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 ha, and I click it, and it's iDubbbz in his food commentator Content Cop video, and it's him sitting in like the front seat of a car and he's eating a burger and he's like, oh, I'm Harley Quinn from Epic Mealtime. I wear flannel and eat bacon. Oh, nom nom. I'm fucking gay. And my dad sent me that cracking up being like, ha ha ha. I saw that. I'm like, who is this? Instant fan. I was an instant fan. I thought that was so funny. Being like, I'm Harley from Epic Mealtime. I wear plaid. I'm gay. And I thought that was so funny. And then I went and I watched Content Cop and I was like, oh, I always wondered. And I did always wonder because like I made Content Cops like in my head. I literally used to like watch some YouTubers. Like I would watch prank YouTubers and I'd be like, why doesn't someone make a video saying that this is terrible content? Mm-hmm. Why doesn't someone do that? And then when iDubbbz did it, I was like, oh my God, a smart, funny guy using his powers like for evil, but not really. He's like shining a light on something. I'm like, this is the guy. Like at the time, I remember being like, this is the YouTuber we need right now. This is exactly it. Some content needed to be policed, and I really think that's it. I'm going to give you a little inside info. I saw iDubbbz at a YouTube party. It followed up on a really funny thing. I was in LA, and I messaged iDubbbz. I said, hey, I heard you're in LA. Do you want to be on Epic Mealtime? And he wrote back, no. And that was it. And I was like, okay, cool. Most people are like, I'd love to, blah, whatever. He was just like, no. And I did respect that. I was like, okay, cool. But then I ended up running into him at a YouTube party. And I was like, I sat down with him. I'm like, I know this is so annoying because I hate when people sit next to me. And mostly I hate it. It's usually bad ideas. They used to sit next to me and they'd be like, yo, you should make spaghetti. Epic spaghetti. And I'm like, thanks, man. Cool. I'm like, yeah, it's spaghetti, but you put bacon in it. You know, I'm like, I know how it goes. Okay, thank you.
Isn't it like a carbonara or something like that?
What's that? Yeah, it is exactly, but it's not even a good idea. So I sat down next to iDubbbz and I was going to give him a bad idea for Content Cop, and I was like, "Okay, rice gum." Now he was probably going to do it already. But I was like, I have literally like 800 words written about rice gum. I would never do a Content Cop, but I did used to write Content Cops, and I keep using Content Cop just because it's like a brand we understand, like a takedown of someone's content and stuff. I used to sit there and write it. Like I wrote like a whole like inside my head mental Content Cop on like Fousey. I wrote like a whole inside my head Content Cop on rice gum. You know, I wrote a whole one on Jake Paul. They were just things that I wrote because I found it funny. I would watch these videos all the time I get high, and I would just write notes. So, and iDubbbz was like, interesting. And I was like, would you ever think about doing race gum? He's like, yeah, I did think about race gum. I was like, did you know that he asked a girl who was sexually assaulted, how did it feel? And he was like, no, he didn't. And I was like, he did. I was like, I have a whole document here. Feel free to use whatever you want. I'm like, can I send it to you? He's like, yes. I'm like, okay, maybe some of my work will be there. And I'm not taking any credit. His video was so crazy with Asian Jake Paul, and he had PewDiePie in it. I thought it was so next level. I thought it was a great one. But did it feel good though was really featured intensely in that. And I do remember sharing that with him because like I had just gone and done my own homework. As like I would have never done that type of video, but I was just happy that it existed. And yeah, that whole rice gum scene was terrible. And I wish iDubbbz was boxing rice gum, actually. I really wish. You know, Dr. Mike's an actual boxer, and he wanted to box rice gum instead. And rice gum ducked him. Rice gum called him, which is like, it's just like a nothing, just whatever comment, but it is pretty funny to call him. He was like, I heard made a video about me. But it's like, you can't keep talking. He's ready to get in the ring with you. He's ready to do the thing, you know?
One of the things I like about iDubbbz, as far as
getting in the ring is everything to me.
Yeah.
I think when I watched all these YouTube.
I was going to say that iDubbbz has never picked on the strong. And that's what I like. If a guy goes after the weak, there Leafy, for example, he used to pick on like 12-year-olds making their own music videos. Just they were no one. They're cringy, but leave them alone. They're kids. iDubbbz, on the other hand, he's going after millionaires who are killing it, and maybe could use a knock or peg or knock him down a peg.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt also. Because
what, Kyle?
I said, don't peg him.
Yeah, I did say that, didn't I? Well, maybe they could use a pegging as well.
Okay, well,
yeah,
to each his own.
I know what I said.
I'm so excited to hear about like what kind of training program he has you doing, because I really hope it's kind of like what I did with Wings. How there's some fundamentals and you're getting the work done, but there's also a little silliness. Like, won't you be disappointed if there's not a little silliness?
I think that even if he is not silly and he's 100% dead serious, just imagine Sam Hyde an inch from your face yelling at you what you need to do now, and silly enough for me.
He's a scary guy.
Just Sam Hyde in my face, like yelling at me is enough. Like that's enough silliness as it is. But I think I'm getting a particular guy. I think I'm probably getting the most real version. I'm getting like, self-defense Sam Hyde. Like, I'm getting like combat Sam Hyde. I'm getting so like, he's ready to roll at midnight. Like at midnight, he wants to do this.
I'm wondering what's going to happen though. Like I have this imagination that like you're meeting in a parking lot and it's just going to, God, I want to know more. I want to know. I hope you.
I'm going to text you everything, Kyle. I'll text you immediately after.
Please just, I want to know what the meeting is like, because I just picturing him showing up in like a black, like Ninja Turtle type cargo van, and there's like throws a smoke bomb on the ground for no reason. And he's like, now it begins. And like some guy comes out of nowhere and hits a gong. And then like 6 ninjas, 3 from either side, come running out of like nowhere, and you have to combat them one after another, each of them knowing a different style that he announces verbally before you begin.
I like imagine I go to this address and someone waves me over and I go into a door and they're like, Sam's downstairs, and I go downstairs and it smells like strawberry vape and Chinese food, and he's sitting there playing Elden Ring and he's like, start doing your stretches.
or how about
I don't know. I feel like it's somewhere in between these two.
You ring the doorbell and you're like, Sam Hyde? He goes like, yeah, this is his stuff. Here's where to take it. And you're just buying Sam's cocaine and delivering it for him. This has been an elaborate ruse.
Also, a thing I thought, I'm like, does Sam do drugs? Like, I'm like, I wonder if Sam sniffs coke. I wonder if Sam, like, I saw him smoking Hyde, but was that weed? Never seen him smoke somewhere else, He vapes, but I'm like, I wonder if
he's straight edge. I think he's straight edge.
What?
Didn't
Taylor would know?
That? Yeah,
I get that feeling too. I really do get that feeling.
My temple sort of guy.